The Euphrates has lost 22% of its surface area in 25 years, displacing over 200,000 people. 14 centuries ago, a prophecy in Sahih Muslim and Sahih Bukhari warned this river would dry up, reveal a mountain of gold, and that 99 of every 100 who fought over it would die. That prophecy is now converging with observable fact, and what the Euphrates is beginning to expose runs far deeper than gold. Across the upper reaches of the Euphrates, satellite archives tell a story written in pixels and polygons. Landsat and Sentinel-2 composites processed through Google Earth Engine map the river's shape year after year. The data is unambiguous. Since 2000, the Euphrates has lost about 22% of its wetted surface area. The river's average width has shrunk by nearly 15%, a contraction visible from space and confirmed by ground-level gauge records in Turkey, Syria, and Iraq. Grace gravity measurements chart a parallel drop, with total water storage in the basin falling by around 200 cubic kilometers over the same period. These losses are not uniform. The steepest declines track closely with the filling of major upstream reservoirs, especially the Ilisu and Mosul dams. In some stretches, more than 380 kilometers of riverbed that once carried water now lie exposed, their pale silts and gravels recorded in high-resolution mosaics. Scientists reviewing these datasets agree. The Euphrates is not just receding, it is transforming. Its dimensions, flow, and even its course have been altered within a single generation. In the villages that line the Euphrates, the river's decline is not an abstraction. It is a daily struggle. In Syria, the amount of cultivated land has dropped by more than 1/3 since 2010. Wheat harvests, once the backbone of local diets and incomes, have fallen by half. Farmers who relied on canal irrigation now watch their fields turn to dust, their pumps silent for lack of water. Along the Iraqi stretch, the story is much the same. Irrigated farmland has shrunk from 430,000 to 260,000 hectares in less than 20 years. Families who once grew enough to feed their towns now depend on food aid or migrate in search of work. By 2024, more than 210,000 people had been forced to leave the Euphrates corridor, many citing the loss of water as their main reason. Displacement disrupts the fabric of entire communities. Children leave school, elders are separated from ancestral land, and the skills that once bound generations together begin to fade. For those who remain, every season brings new uncertainty. Will the river return, or will the lifeline of their heritage slip further away? Long before the Euphrates became a line on a satellite map, its waters shaped the rise and fall of entire civilizations. The world's first cities gathered along its shifting banks. Eridu, founded around 5,400 BCE, harnessed the river with stone-lined canals that fed its sacred precincts. Rising by 3,800 BCE, relied on a web of irrigation ditches, visible even now in the desert soil. Babylon, by 1,800 BCE, diverted the river's flow with engineered weirs, transforming floodwater into the bounty of the famed Field of Babylon. Mesopotamian hymns called the Euphrates the Great River of the Gods, a phrase echoing through Sumerian tablets and biblical verses alike. For millennia, the river has been more than a source of water. It has been a symbol of divine favor, a boundary between order and chaos, and the lifeblood of every harvest. Even today, in the palm groves of Hit, 1,850 hectares support 22,000 people, their livelihoods tied to the same seasonal rhythms as their ancestors. An Assyriologist describes the Euphrates as a thread linking past and present, its course etched into the memory of every community that has depended on its flow. Against this backdrop, the river's decline carries a weight that is both practical and deeply symbolic, setting the stage for a prophecy that centers not on any river, but on this river. In the recorded sayings of the Prophet Muhammad, a striking warning is preserved. The most widely cited versions appear in two of the most trusted collections, Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. The narration is direct and vivid. The Prophet said, "The hour will not come until the Euphrates uncovers a mountain of gold. People will fight over it, and out of every 100, 99 will be killed. Each will say, 'Perhaps I will be the one to succeed.'" In some versions, the Prophet adds, "Whoever is present at that time, let him not take anything from it." Classical scholars such as Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani and Imam an-Nawawi graded this narration as authentic, tracing its chain of transmission through respected companions. The wording is consistent across manuscripts. The river will recede, a hidden horde will appear, and a devastating conflict will follow. The warning is unmistakable. Do not seek the gold, for the cost will be catastrophic. No date is given, no location specified beyond the river itself. The Hadith stands as both a prophecy and a caution, its meaning debated for centuries, but its phrasing left deliberately unadorned. Theories about the mountain of gold described in the Hadith have multiplied as the Euphrates recedes. The first is the literal reading, that the exposed riverbed will reveal actual gold deposits. Yet geological surveys conducted along the Euphrates basin, including the 2024 field studies near Deir ez-Zor and Anbar, have found no evidence of gold veins or placer deposits in the exposed sediments. The second hypothesis centers on OIL. The Mesopotamian basin contains some of the world's largest petroleum reserves, and hydrocarbon maps show rich strata beneath the alluvium. Some scholars suggest the mountain of gold could refer to these vast oil fields, which have fueled both economic booms and violent conflict throughout the 20th and 21st centuries. A third view draws from recent archaeological discoveries, pottery shards and Bronze Age relics unearthed as the river retreats. For archaeologists, these cultural treasures represent a different kind of wealth, one tied to heritage rather than commerce. Finally, others argue the true gold is water itself. In a region where every drop sustains life, the vanishing river becomes the most precious resource of all, and the warning in the Hadith is seen as a caution against fighting over what remains. Contemporary scholarship brings a wide range of perspectives to the Euphrates prophecy, each shaped by different disciplines and concerns. Jonathan Brown, a historian of Islamic thought, urges caution against literal readings. He points out that the Hadith's language is open to metaphor, and that centuries of commentary have produced no consensus on what the mountain of gold actually refers to. Yasir Qadi, a prominent theologian, highlights the ethical warning embedded in the narration. For him, the real lesson is not about predicting events, but about the dangers of greed and conflict over resources, whether gold, oil, or water. Michael Cook, a historian of early Islam, situates the prophecy within a broader context of apocalyptic traditions, noting that similar motifs appear in Christian and Jewish texts. He suggests that the Hadith may reflect the anxieties of its era as much as it predicts the future. Fatima al-Musa, a specialist in Quranic and prophetic literature, emphasizes the absence of any date or specific location in the narration. She warns against using the prophecy as a timetable for current events, and instead calls for a focus on its moral guidance. Across these voices, one theme stands out. The prophecy's meaning is debated, its timing unknown, and its ethical message more urgent than any search for gold. On the high plateaus of southeastern Turkey, the Euphrates is no longer a wild, untamed river. Its flow is now shaped by a chain of massive reservoirs, each engineered to store, divert, and release water according to policy rather than season. The Ataturk Dam, completed in 1992, stands at the center of this system. Its reservoir can hold up to 48 billion cubic meters, enough to slow the river's pulse far downstream. Turkish state hydraulic works records show that average annual discharge at Ataturk dropped from 840 cubic meters per second in the 1990s to just 520 cubic meters per second in the past decade. Downstream, the Iraqi Dam, filled in 2000, adds another 9.5 billion cubic meters of storage. The Elisu Dam, operational since 2018, and the Mosul Dam in Iraq, filled partially by 2015, further segment the river's flow. Each of these milestones is visible in the gauge records. Sudden drops in river width and flow track closely with the filling and operation of these reservoirs. Water allocation between countries follows a contested formula. Turkey claims 70% of the flow, Syria 30%, and Iraq just 20%. But in practice, these numbers are shaped by upstream decisions and reservoir levels. The Euphrates has become a river managed by decree, its fate increasingly determined by policy institutions and the capacity of concrete walls, rather than by rainfall or snowmelt. This engineered control sets the stage for how climate and politics now amplify the river's decline. Summer heat now lingers longer over the Euphrates basin, pushing average temperatures up by 1.4 degrees Celsius since the turn of the century. Rainfall has fallen off sharply, down 18% compared to late 20th century norms. The river's surface shrinks not just from dams, but from the sky itself. Climate analysts reviewing ERA5 reanalysis data confirm a 12% jump in potential evapotranspiration, meaning more water is lost to the air with every passing season. The drought's grip tightens, leaving soils parched and groundwater harder to reach. In 2025, a team of hydrologists flagged the basin in their anomaly briefing. More than 85% of the Euphrates corridor now falls into a high-risk zone for further collapse, based on AI-driven models that scan temperature, precipitation, and soil moisture trends. These warnings are not just technical. They point to a deeper moral reckoning. As the river recedes, the question grows urgent. How will millions share what remains? The ethical challenge now rivals the technical one. Water allocation is no longer just a matter of policy. It has become a test of collective responsibility, with the fate of entire communities hanging in the balance. The Euphrates continues to shrink, reshaping lives and igniting new conflicts over water. The Hadith preserved in Sahih Muslim and Bukhari warns of both temptation and catastrophe. In a world racing toward scarcity, prophecy urges vigilance, not certainty. The true test may be how we respond before the river runs dry.